Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel where today we are going to be discussing everything that's happened in the last 24 hours. If you guys are not aware, a lot of things have gone down and I'm sure everyone is feeling all sorts of different ways. You have DC, you have the statements of the police being taken over by federal. You have Putin, Zelensky, Trump. There's a lot going on. There's a lot to process with what is happening. There is a lot when it comes down to it. So you have a beginning stage. Sorry, I had a piece of hair stuck to my lips. But you have like a small piece of what martial law would look like. And first thing today, it's Tuesday. I start noticing people are, they're ramping up and they're wanting to go protest. And something that hasn't been discussed on this channel very much, but something I feel very full-heartedly, and I've discussed it on my other channel. Have we all forgotten what gray man is? You're not supposed to be out there. No matter what's about to happen, no matter how it's about to happen, we already know. Our job is we stack, we repeat, we stack, we repeat, we practice our skills. I know that that's something really hard for people to understand, and there's such a political heightenedness and everyone wants to argue. But I'm going to tell you right now, if something bad was about to happen, I'm going to blend in with whatever regime is going on. And so should you. Something my grandparents talked about is when people start pitting against each other. If there was ever martial law, and they openly discussed martial law. If there was ever martial law, you're going to blend in. You're for the cause, the big cause, whatever the cause is, whatever is happening, you do not put a target on yourself. It's on every channel across YouTube right now. There's a target on preppers. There is. I've said it. I said it over on TikTok. I said something's going on with the algorithm. I know I can't say that word right and somebody's going to get really mad. But they were not wanting to pump out any prepping, self-sustainability, homesteading. Like they started suppressing views like crazy. It's because the system's onto it. The system's onto it. You have AI, you have all these other outside forces all involved in it, and they are scanning every single thing you do. We've seen it. We saw it a few years ago when Liberty turned over their records to who owns safes. There's always been a target on preppers. There always will be. Because we are the closest thing to wanting to be back to a self-sustainable, and we don't trust anything. There's never been a time in my life where I'm like, oh goody, today I trust the government. I think the government has my entire best interest at heart. No, I was in the service. No, I can already say that. No, hard pass. So many people have forgotten, I hear there's still a hair right there. What are you prepping for? What if nothing ever happens? And I'm like, are people brainwashed? I feel like people are brainwashed that they have forgotten the pandemic. They have forgotten the housing crisis. They have forgotten war. They have forgotten so many things that have happened throughout our history. That nothing's ever going to happen. And then that's the first jump word set that people want to come after preppers and say, well, nothing's going to happen. You're doing this for absolutely no reason whatsoever. When things continuously happen, inflation happens. You can't talk me off that horse, okay? I'm sorry. But the steady rate that we're at, by the time my children are graduated, I'm very concerned. I am very concerned of what kind of world we're going to be living in. If we make it that long. Friday is absolutely petrifying to think about. There are so many what ifs. I mean, I've heard all kinds of people talk about what if, what they believe could happen, what they believe won't happen. y'all realize like 007 movies were made about like the same kind of thing. You got Putin, and you got Trump, and supposedly they're going to have a sit-down talk. This could go wrong in so many different ways. A lot of people say that they don't think that the meeting's going to happen. I kind of hope it doesn't. Because all the possibilities of something going wrong, especially with tensions this high, that would be like trying to get, during World War II, Hitler and everybody to have a sit-down lunch, a conversation. What? When there's so many people that are very close to escalating this war so much further. I mean, you got the UK that's preparing. You have the US that is so busy arguing amongst each other that everybody is wrong and everybody is right all at the same time, and everybody hates everybody. You have other countries that are deciding to rev up their own wars because they're like, what a better perfect time right now. You know, everybody else is all fighting. We might as well jump in. And then you have this very publicized meeting. During the briefing yesterday when I was watching it, he did slip and say Thursday, but then the meeting is scheduled for Friday. So I'm almost curious if this is all going to take place before we know it, or if it's going to be after. I'm guessing it's going to take place before, because obviously OPSEC, all of those. And then whatever happens at this meeting would be Friday. But the one thing that I've chosen to do in all of this is I'm just going to prep harder. I'm just going to prep harder, because no matter what happens, the meeting could go well. I don't know if it would with the way that the world is. Tell me what you guys think is going to happen. Do you guys actually think the meeting's going to happen? Or, I mean, there's so many things that could go wrong. I mean, Trump would be very delusional to think that he could go and be under Putin's safety or security and nothing would happen. And vice versa. Trump trying to convince Putin that you're safe with us. I mean, there's a thousand other people out there that are rooting for a World War III. And if you don't believe that, then you guys don't know what BlackRock is, okay? There's so many corporations out there that are rooting for World War III, for that final shoe to drop. And maybe this is the gut feeling I was talking about in previous videos. But there is so much tension going on right now. And then you have a selective martial law style lockdown going on in DC. Some areas are under a curfew. I have already discussed this in martial law videos. You know, when martial law starts to get instated, yeah, there's going to be curfews. But there's like a double-edged sword to this. And not a lot of people were willing to hear out the double-edged sword. When you have politics, every time there's a different leader, and it doesn't matter, it's for every country, not just America, okay? We're not that completely egotistical, or maybe we are. But one party will always swing hard, and then the next party has to swing 10 times harder. And it goes on and on and on and on. I'm not going to lie. I've been to DC. I would not take my children back to DC. I went in the early 2000s. I would not go at this age. I'm sorry. If that offends somebody, it's the same with Seattle. I lived near Seattle for a long time. Loved the area. I will not take my children to Seattle. The crime, I don't know what words I'm allowed to say on YouTube, guys. So the epidemic, I guess is the way I would say it, epidemic, has overtaken. Also, another area that I would not take my kids to is Portland, Oregon. I loved Oregon. I lived there for a very long time. But that epidemic has overtaken. So you have, where we were going with this is every politician decides that they're going to swing just a little bit harder against the previous administration and a previous administration and then the next previous administration. And things that I've seen through the decades is, you know, legalizing. Oregon is a great example. pretty much nothing is illegal there. To be very honest with you, nothing is illegal there. And if that offends you, then I don't know what else to say. I lived there for a very long time, and it is considered dangerous. Now, DC now, I don't know if it's considered dangerous. Just with where the current world is, I wouldn't be hanging around our country's capital right now because it's not looking very good. Okay? It's not looking very great out there. But they've instated this type of martial law, and this is a great example of one of the things as preppers that we watch for, right? If Salt Lake City got locked down, my family and I would choose to blend into whatever is happening. I'm going to be very honest with you. We continue to prep. We stay out of that whatever fight is going to go on, and we mind our own business and we stay in our own corner. And others seem to not understand that. I'm not prepping you to become a vigilante. If y'all want to do that, that's super risky. That puts a target on you. It gets your name known. They're talking about putting FBI agents on the street, and people are like, yeah, I'm going out there. I'm going to go rally. I'm like, great. One way to get put on an FBI watch list. As a prepper, I highly suggest not to. I suggest that you put your politics aside and you say, okay, this might be an overstep. But with this overstep, what can I learn from it? What can I digest of what's going on? Okay, curfews, locking down this. They want to remove the homeless. They want all these other things. That doesn't mean go dress like you're homeless and then go lay down on the street and then make sure that you are known by those agencies. That is one of the things that I feel a lot of people are missing that concept. When it came to prepping, my family didn't go, well, we're against this guy, so we're going to rah. No, we just continued to prep, stack, repeat. Prep, stack, repeat. On a lighter note, I do have something really cool I'd like to show you guys if you guys would like to see it. But it's from the house. It's from my grandparents' house. But I'm very, very excited to show this. We found some number 10 cans. Now, mind you, my family is prepped for generations. I'm not even going to say decades, because people go, how long have they been prepping? I'm like, my grandpa was born in 1910 and they started a stockpile in 1920. And I mean, that's a long time. I've been doing this same stuff, helping with food preservation since I was 3, and I'm 37. Okay. Yes, I am old. All right. So this right here is a Beehive number 10 can. It's a P27. The closest one I could find, I'm not sure on the year on this one. We do use all of our own food. So this is a rare find for me to find a number 10 can. And look how beautiful it is. It is like in perfect condition because my family took care of everything. But I do know the Beehive food storage, when it was the dark blue containers, were 1940. So my guess is 1950. Especially with how the cartoonage is. Once again, this is not a true label. It is paper on the outside. But I did find one on eBay, and it was from a Fairbanks Doomsday bunker. They found one, and they're selling it on eBay for a lot of money. But I haven't found the year. And that's the part that I'm like excited to figure out with the labeling. My aunt's going back in through photos that she has as a child to see if in the food storage room, if they had any inclination of when this one was found. But we have 2 of them. We have this one, and then we also have this one. This one is the instant potato granules, and it's much heavier. This one is 6 pounds. And it definitely weighs at 6 pounds. At first I thought it was bad, but then I realized that it sounds like sugar when you turn it. I don't know if you guys can hear it in the mic. Hopefully you guys can hear that. But when my family has prepped for generations, we don't pick and choose which person or what we're fighting against. We're prepping because we want something better for our family. And this weekend seems like things are going to be really uneasy. I mean, we'll find out what happens on Friday. I'm sure it's going to happen prior to it because you have OPSEC. And of course, they're not going to give you the actual day that they're going to meet or sit down, or if the meeting will even occur. But then you also have this small scale, and I'm going to say small scale, it's not major scale yet. When I think martial law, I think major scale. Like I think when people are actually coming to your home. This, I'm going to call it a small scale martial law, show of force, federalizing the local police, using the National Guard, and using agencies against the people. But when we were talking about that pendulum, talking about every single politician's got to swing just a little bit harder, things have gotten really bad. Over the last 20 years, things have gotten really bad. I'm not here to argue with you. If you don't think anything's gotten bad in 20 years, I don't know what rock you're living under, but I would love to live under that rock. You had cities burning to the ground. You had protests. You had civil unrest. It doesn't matter what the organization is in my eyes. Civil unrest is going to be one of the first things that happens when SHTF happens. Civil unrest and people just panicking and going against each other and hating each other. And that animal instinct comes in for resources. That is one thing that I majorly prep for is civil unrest. And in 20 years, there was times where they're like, yeah, this is great. And I was like, what are you talking about? This is getting really intense. Do we know if that's going to happen in DC? No. Do I think that the crime is there that astronomical? No. But I think every single administration has swung just a little bit harder. This administration swinging one direction really, really hard. Well, the previous administration had, I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off, guys. Here's a 1-800 number to call to turn in your neighbors for gathering together on Easter. Here is where you can report church gatherings. Here is an area you can report groups larger than 5 or 6 people meeting. No, you're not allowed to go to work. No, you're not allowed to go here. Specific shopping times. No, you're not allowed to buy more than 2 of those. The shelves are empty. Don't even get me started on the baby formula shortage, okay? That right there just riles me up. Let's shut down formula plants. Federal restrictions, shut them down, and then not give any answers to mothers having children. And don't get me started. Do not start shaming moms in here, whether they're formula fed or breastfed. Do not do that in my comment section because your comment will get deleted so fast. It will be unreal. First of all, in my eyes, a fed baby is a happy baby. It is not my business. A fed baby is a happy baby. A fed child is a happy child. Don't get me started. Do not try to do this mom shame thing or this Instagram-y kind of like, this is better than this, or I'm going to put you down. Don't. Nope. A fed baby is a happy baby. A fed child is a happy child. As long as they are fed, that's the only thing that matters. But we already saw our federal government jump in on a bunch of things that have happened throughout the years. Yeah, the last 2 years kind of mellowed out. Kind of. I honestly think tension is so high. Where else is it supposed to go? So you have the meeting with Putin. You have a small scale martial law. I honestly think the DC one's going to be smaller scale. I think once it moves to Chicago or New York City, it's going to be large scale. And that's when I'm going to say, yeah, I think this is turning into a full martial law situation. But I think DC is a trial run. I don't know how many other people feel like that, but I think that it is a trial run. And then you have all these other things going on. And we do know that preppers have a target on them and the prepping more in secret. And obviously I'm sitting in a rotational pantry. Once something is filled up in here and it's going to long-term food storage and it's not my rotational, you guys don't know where it goes to. There's no digital trail. I just kind of, boop, I'm out. But a few of my friends on here know also, bought my property in cash. I don't trust the government. I don't trust it on any level. I don't know how many other people feel that they can trust anything, but you got hurricane season coming up. I'm nervous that this season's going to be wild, and there's just a lot of things going on. For this weekend, I just say stack, repeat, keep prepping, stay aware, stay prepared, and always have your head on a swivel because, ooh, it is getting wild out there. And I'm kind of just baffled because it was like the briefing with all of this information being chucked out at the exact same time. I took a whole day to dissect it. I took notes during it and I was just like, okay. So small scale, what we do know as preppers. Before we end this video, I'm going to tell you what we do know. Curfew, obviously, would be one that's check off. Here we go. Looking for vulnerable people, homeless, check. Okay, we understand that. Okay. The next one is identification. They kept bringing that up. I feel like that's a good way to keep your mind on what's going on. Okay. They're going to be really strict on identification. Routes. If you notice the streets, how they are isolated, restricted. I mean, I've done a lot of research into this. As you know, I go over the notes. I'm not going to just chuck out a video within 2 hours of it coming out without like kind of looking around and seeing what's going on the outside perspective. Of course, there's people protesting. There was a larger protest late last night and then earlier this morning. I mean, that just puts a target on anybody right now. It seems like they are wanting to kind of, God, how do you say this? And you know it's going to offend somebody. If you put your name out there and you put yourself out there in that way, you're already making yourself a target. It's dumb. It is dumb. So it looks like they're looking for those kind of people who want to make their name like, I'm going to be here. I'm against you. I hate you. Like, it looks like they're classifying people as people who want to like jump first in front of the vehicle. And if anything in the prepping world, I say that should be your biggest indicator of, you stay back, you watch, you observe, you stack, you repeat. Stack and repeat. As always, I'll see you on the next one. And I hope you guys have a wonderful week. And let's keep prepping because we don't know what is about to happen. Things don't look good. And